Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another comic book review. I know it's been a while, but these comic book reviews are really the highlight of my week. I love doing comic book reviews. I've been really busy. I know last week I said I was going to do more videos. I was going to start uploading again, but after Monday, things just went to hell. My daughter got really sick, and I had to deal with the sick kids, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to do videos. But this week, everything should be back to normal. The only day I didn't upload was Monday, and so here we are. It's Thursday, so it's a comic book review day. And this week, I wanted to talk about the original Sin storyline that just finished up a few weeks ago and kind of give my thoughts on it. It's going to be like an in-depth discussion about what happened during the event, and then I'll give it a review score at the end of it of what I thought about it. So, first thing to get into, there was an issue 0, that kind of gave it a little bit of a backstory. It involved the Watcher and Nova, and just kind of giving us some of the backstory of who the Watcher is and what he does. And essentially, he just watches over the galaxy. He sees everything that happens around Earth. He isn't supposed to intervene or anything. He just watches. That's why they call him the Watcher. Nova, he goes. He's I know he was a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but this is a new Nova. He's just a kid, and his father was the original Nova, and pretty much he has a helmet that gives him these powers, and he can fly, and he has all these certain. I don't know a whole lot about Nova, uh, so that's all I can really say. But he's curious about the Watcher, and one night he decides to go up and see the Watcher, and he just kind of asks the Watcher questions, and the Watcher doesn't answer. He just kind of shows them some things, and that's really all we get in that issue 0. It was interesting, and then into issue 1, we find the Watcher has been murdered. Someone has killed the Watcher, and now it's up to the Avengers to figure out who it is. And there's like 3 groups of these super beings, these superheroes, and they get a mysterious call from someone. They don't know who it is, but this person asks them to investigate certain areas to try and find the person who killed the Watcher. And so um, he they go and they search these different areas. Um, One group is kind of led by Black Panther, another by Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and then another group that consists of just Doctor Strange and the Punisher. And as you read more further into this, they're investigating the Watcher, or the Watcher murder, and also the Avengers are. The Avengers then find out who might have killed the Watcher. It's this villain called the Orb. He's a man's body, and he has just an eyeball for a head. And so they go and confront him, and when they do, uh, the Orb, he takes one of the Watcher's eyes. That's one thing I forgot to say. The Not only is the Watcher killed, but his eyes are missing. And the Orb has possession of one of the eyes, and he takes the eye and he essentially creates this bomb that is a bomb of secret information, and all these things go into everybody's head, all these secrets, all these original sins, and people start seeing things that were kept secret from them. Like, for example, Thor finds out he has a sister. Peter Parker finds out, Spider-Man, he finds out that there's another person that has spider abilities, and he knows where she's being held against her will, so he goes to let her free. Um, the Hulk finds out that Tony Stark might be behind why he is the Hulk. He tampered with the gamma bomb that made the Hulk, that made Bruce Banner the Hulk. So he gets enraged and he goes to investigate himself, and it starts this whole story arc where the Hulk and Iron Man are fighting. And multiple things happen in the Avengers. Captain America finds out about the Illuminati. If you don't know who they are, it's a group of super beings that consist of Iron Man, Reed Richards, um, Professor Xavier used to be a part of it, but now since he died, Beast is a part of it. Black Panther, Namor, a bunch of these super beings, that are pretty much like the smartest of the smartest that kind of do these secret meetings and they decide on what they should do about the planet and how to protect it. But Reed Richards finds out about, or Reed Richards, Captain America, Steve Rogers, he finds out about these secret meetings because they've been wiped from his memory, and he goes on this uh, like trip through time. He keeps, him and the Avengers, they keep going forward in time, and it shows like certain events that happen. It's really confusing to explain, and this is supposed to be about the original sin. That's completely a whole another side story that I could get into about. But it was essentially, it's going to lead into something bigger, and we'll talk about that at another time, probably next week. So now this orb of information, the Watcher's eye, it explodes. Everybody has all these secrets that they weren't supposed to know. Now they do know, and everybody starts freaking out. The Avengers kind of disband for a little bit. They go off and do their own thing. Thor just freaking leaves. Hulk runs off. Spidey runs off. Everybody's like, "What the heck was that?" And so as things start to develop more, they're still looking for this orb guy. What Avengers are left? They go out looking for this orb guy. There's still the people who weren't near the blast, the three teams that were off planet investigating certain deaths and to kind of helping them figure out who killed the Watcher. They don't get blasted with the orb because they weren't there when it happened. So they're out in space and they're investigating, and that's when Bucky Barnes, he and his team, which consists of Gamora and I forgot who else was with him. There was one, oh, Moon Knight. Moon Knight was with him. They go to this planet, and all of a sudden their spaceship blows up. Gamora and Moon Knight, they're looking. They're like, why did the spaceship just blow up? Bucky Barnes is gone. And then it cuts to another panel where Bucky Barnes is near Nick Fury, and he cuts off Nick Fury's head. That was like the cliffhanger of one of the issues. I was like, whoa, Winter Soldier's bad again. He just fucking flipped. He must have been the one that killed the Watcher. No. Turns out the Nick Fury that he killed was actually like a robot, an android kind of thing, a clone kind of Nick Fury. And then we find out Nick Fury is actually really old, and he has these robots that take over for him, that go, or not take over, but they go out and one's like the director of Shield. One watches the Earth and stops certain aliens from invading, and he essentially kills them. He does the things that the Avengers won't do, or any superhero they won't kill, and he kills these aliens that are a threat to the Earth. So um, things come to light, like the Avengers, they finally show up on the moon, which is where Nick Fury is, the old Nick Fury. They start battling with Nick, and I think it eventually comes out that I think Nick was the one that killed the Watcher. I've got just issues 1 and 8 sitting in front of me. I have a hard time retaining all the information because it's like you start reading it, you read the first issue, and then you gotta wait a month until the next issue comes out, and it's kind of hard to retain all that information for me. I'm like, I like to read it when I read it back to back. Yes, it looks like Nick Fury does. He kills the Watcher. Pretty sure he does. He's the one. He has one of the eyes. But Nick, he just says he does it to protect the Earth. He said pretty much that somehow the Watcher, he became a threat because people wanted the information. Bad people wanted information about what the Watcher could show with his eyes. So he saw the Watcher as a threat in the ways that the Watcher could be used as a weapon, and so he kills it, but it kind of backfires on him because the enemy, they still get an eye because he has two eyes. So essentially, you could have two of these bombs that could set off information. And so the Avengers, they of course they have a problem with it. Steve Rogers has a problem with it, and they get into this fight, and it ends up just in this all battle royale. Like all these Marvel events happen, it just ends with one big battle royale. And essentially, we think that Nick Fury dies, and everyone's gonna have to deal with the aftermath of now we know all these secrets. But it turns out that it looks like maybe Nick Fury is now the new Watcher. If you can see that right there, he's kind of looking after it. Bucky Barnes becomes what Nick Fury was, where he looks out for the galaxy, or not the galaxy. He looks out for the Earth up in space. And that's going to be his own series, The Winter Soldier. Bucky Barnes. He's going to watch over the Earth from space and all that. So, as a whole, the whole idea of this original sin, where these new things come to light for our characters, and it's going to completely change the Marvel universe. It was a cool idea. A lot of it kind of fell short, though. Like, I thought something epic was going to happen with Hulk and Iron Man, when it just turns out that Hulk, Bruce Banner, he could have stopped it from happening, from him turning into the Hulk, if he just would have listened to Tony Stark. So nothing really major happened there. We just kind of find out a little bit more about the backstory of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. There is something that we'll talk about next week with the Avengers that's going to lead into something bigger in the next few months. But we'll talk about that next week, because that's I can do a whole another video just about that. So, and Spider-Man, you find out about this girl, and there's a new romance relationship that's going to happen, I think. It's craziness. The whole idea was pretty cool, but it fell kind of short at the end, where it was like this huge battle royale with Nick Fury, and I don't know, it was all right. For me, it's definitely worth picking up and checking out, because it's going to change the Marvel universe in a big way. So if you haven't read it, go ahead, go out and read it. I'll give it like a 4 out of 5. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It had some flaws with it, I thought. It could have been more awesome, I guess. Sort of like how the Civil War sort of fell short. Like, yeah, and it just, this big, like, the idea was awesome, and then it kind of fell short at the end, where like Captain America's like, oh, fuck it, I'm the bad guy, bring me to jail. But whatever. So yeah, check it out. I think it's definitely gonna have some repercussions that happen throughout the whole Marvel universe. It already has with Spider-Man. Spider-Man has like this new kind of like sidekick. We'll talk about her later too. I can do another video just about that. That was a really good read there. And then the X-Men, there's stuff that happened with the X-Men. But yeah, so if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to see more content from me, and I will see you guys on the next comic book review.